Hello again, beautiful souls. It's me, Amanda, once again with Anam Carol messages of the soul friend. All morning, and actually even part of last night, shadow work just keeps coming, and mirror work. It's kind of one and the same. And just all morning, it's just been, Amanda, do another video. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it you want me to do? And again, I'm still very uncomfortable with this whole being seen. So I decided to meditate and shuffle some cards and go, right, come on, give me something to work with. Because very often spirit, they give me impulses and urges to say things to people or, whatever. And they don't tell me the why in advance. But what I have learned is when I follow those impulses and maybe say something to a stranger or to a friend, it's always a case of, the following conversation, healing flows through. What people need to hear comes through. But the difficult part for me is I can't always explain it beforehand, except that I know there's something important about to come through. And I'm learning to have faith, because not once has anybody told me to feck off, you weirdo. So, I trust I am being guided, and all is well. But this still really does challenge me. And this really is one of those lessons of feel the fear and do it anyway. I don't have any ick feeling, so it's not like, don't do it. They always give me this wonderful uplifting feeling. And again, I've just conditioned myself to feel excitement as nervousness and misinterpret it. I'm a feeling person, I'm empathic. But I also grew up in an emotionally crippled environment, so I don't have the proper word associations with the physical sensations that we feel in the various energy centers within our bodies. I've gone off on tangents here. Just anytime I get nervous, if I allow that frequency to catch me, because it's a heavier, fear is a heavier vibration. It tends to pinch me off from the flow of what's coming through. So please bear with me. Because as I said, this is hugely challenging for me to do what I do in a public manner rather than quietly, one-to-one. So I just trust that whatever's going to come through this morning is going to come through. Now, I mentioned shadow work and mirror work. And, the message coming through really strongly is to point out the importance of doing it. And, we're all capable of doing this. What is shadow work? Sometimes with, the words we use, we've fear associations with them. The shadow is nothing to be feared. The shadow self, it's that wounded part of you. It's that side of you that, through various experiences, traumas, etc., hardships in life, we've learned, coping mechanisms, survival skills for, coping on our path in life, because, we didn't have people to teach us to trust ourselves, to tune into our own internal compass, to, listen to that intuition or inner tuition, that inner teaching, that soul learning, the soul lessons, because our souls are eternal. We are very, very ancient and wise beings. And we have come here and taken up physical bodies. We're not even male or female. Our souls don't have a gender. Our souls are both masculine and feminine in harmony, like the yin and yang. We flow and merge into each other. When we manifest in the physical, when we come here to live the human experience, We need gender bodies in order to procreate and allow more souls to come through. So, we're not actually different from each other. Everything about our upbringings has us conditioned to think we're all different. Boys are different from girls. Men and women completely different. No, we're not. But we have been programmed and conditioned to think completely differently. But inside, we're all one. We all experience the same feelings and experiences, when we have various human experiences. Certain emotional things go in. Some of us hide it better because, a lot of us have learned survival skills that to show emotion is a bad thing. We're either shamed for it or ridiculed or even, given out to for it. Stop that. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. All these things, this programming that we've experienced through our lives. And again, it's something we've kind of taken in as part of us. It's something we have bought into and we choose to believe. Which is why then, it's really important to start looking at yourself in the mirror and allowing your soul, allowing that inner tuition to flow through. It's so important to look in the mirror, not for the face that you've seen all your life and that you've learned to critique and criticize and find fault with. There's not many of us that can actually look ourselves in the eye and maintain that eye contact because we've conditioned ourselves and we've allowed society's opinions to dictate how we feel about ourselves. We have taken all of that on board. But if we were to spend just a little bit of time in front of a mirror, when you breathe deeply and consciously, and you look yourself in the eye, and instead of judging and criticizing your beautiful self, look for the things that people that love you see. Look for your soul. The eyes are, after all, the window to the soul. Look yourself in the eye. Use a mirror to see you. Feel all the love and compassion bursting forth from your heart center. You have so much love to give, and yet most are willing to offer it to everybody except themselves. So it's time to go to the mirror. It's time to look into your own eyes. Look for the light within. Look for that beautiful soul within, with so much love to give, with so much kindness and compassion bubbling away inside, that society has kind of conditioned us to push down. Don't be so sensitive. Don't feel your feelings. You're too emotional. It's time to shut off those beliefs. Because our emotions, our feelings, they are our primary source of communication. Have you ever noticed? It doesn't happen all the time, but every now and again your path will cross with another soul who doesn't speak your language. My common language is English, but I have actually managed to communicate over the years. I can cast my mind back. There's several people that have crossed my path, either been on holidays or whatever, and we've no common language. But yet somehow we managed to communicate through eye contact, hand gestures, facial expression, and by feeling each other. And I think most of us have experienced something like that at least once in our lifetimes. Why is that? Because in that moment that person who crossed your path, you were both in alignment. You were probably in a space where you were feeling good. Because generally, if you're on holidays, you're a little bit more relaxed. When we're feeling good, we're in the higher frequencies, which makes us more susceptible to the higher divine guidance that comes to us. It's only when we're anxious and stressed and caught up in the heavier frequencies, all that icky stuff, that it pinches off that flow, so that we're not really in tune and aligned with our own soul's guidance. And isn't that amazing? How somebody that does not share a single word of your language in common, yet you can still communicate because you see and feel each other in the moment. And that's always a wonderful feeling. And a lot of us will dismiss it. Oh my God, that was mad. Like, I actually knew what they wanted, and I was able to, figure it out. But we joke about it and dismiss it. But you know what? That's a wonderful gift that we all have. We have the ability to communicate clearly if we're willing to just be present. If we're willing to allow ourselves to feel. And sadly, most relationships nowadays, the communication breakdown that's happening is just unbelievable. And a lot of it is because we're shutting ourselves down. We're so stressed, we're so burdened and caught up in the heavier frequencies that we're literally shutting our own selves off from communicating, from feeling what people in our various relationships are trying to communicate with us. It's time to look ourselves in the eye and feel again. Feel compassion towards yourself. Feel love for yourself. Everything you are seeking externally, all the answers are here within your own heart center, within your own soul. Our heart center is that center point, that balance between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. This is such a powerful chakra for communication. It's right next to the throat chakra, our speaking chakra. But we need to feel. And when we feel, we communicate much more clearly. What we say when we're in a feeling place, when we speak from the heart, when we speak through the frequencies and vibrations of love, we are not only seen and heard, but we are understood. And lately, it's coming to my awareness. I've had so many conversations with people who are getting really upset because of the miscommunication and the misunderstanding. There are so many people using the right words, but because they're allowing their own panic and discomfort and upset at seeing their loved one, be it friend or family member, going through challenging times and upsetting experiences, that we get emotionally charged. So even though we say the right thing, we're saying it in the frequency of what we are feeling in that time, which again is why it's so important to be breathing consciously, being in alignment and aware of who we truly are. And our true nature is beings of balance and harmony. We've just gotten distracted in all the society, all other people's journeys and paths. And really we just need to come back home to ourselves, back to the heart center. I'm invited now to pull some cards. So these are transmissions from your soul. Mirror work can be challenging because as we look ourselves in the eye, We often see that vulnerable, scared little boy or girl within. And we also see that warrior side, the angry warrior, the side of us that's protected us and helped us survive all these challenging and horrible experiences. But the way of the warrior is actually the way of peace. True warriors, they don't seek to go into battle. They train so that if they must, they can defend themselves and their loved ones. The true warriors do not go out seeking battle. True warriors look for the way of balance and harmony. What message do you need to get across? What is it you wish at the time? Okay. There is only light. Number 30, which breaks down to a 3. And I'm not a numerologist. Isn't that just a beautiful card? Can you feel the energy flowing from it, the imagery? There is only light, the light within each and every one of us. And as I mentioned, this breaks down to a number 3, and I'm not a numerologist. But what I do know, 3 is about collaboration. 3, for me personally, was such a huge number in my own journey and part of my awakening to my new awareness. Because 3, and again, it plays so much part in our, even in our own history and, you know, our legends, our myths, and our symbols, like the Celtic Triskells and the Triquettas. You know, the 3, these are symbols of 3. And what I have been guided and shown through my guides and my own soul, this Holy Trinity that we speak of. I was raised in the Catholic faith. So again, it's very patriarchal. They talk about the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And then the ancient pagan ways, the more feminine energy, matriarchal energy. That was all about the mother and maiden crone. And a message that keeps repeatedly coming through. It's about the balance of both. It's about the balance within. Because when we balance our masculine and feminine energies, for remember, our souls are genderless. Our souls are both masculine and feminine. We are each both masculine and feminine. And when we need to, we step into our masculine energy, the yang energy, the doing. But we can also then step into the yin, the feminine, the inner, the intuitive, the feeling, the nurturing energies. We need both to survive. And again, it's yin and yang. It's about ebb and flow. It's about the cycles. And everything around us, all of the cycles in nature, cycles within our own bodies. We are all one and we are all interconnected. And for me, personally, what I have come to believe and now have full faith in is that the number 3, or the Holy Trinity, is about the union. It's about what happens when we get the union, the harmony, the balance within. Our own balance between our masculine and feminine energies, because when we are in a harmony, in alignment with ourselves, that's when we step up and we become our true selves. That's when our soul's guidance is loud and clear. That is when we are so attuned to all of the angels, guides, deities. We are connected to everything because our souls are part of the one. Such a beautiful image. And again, I don't know how well you can see it. Look at this beautiful light. It's originating here in the heart center. center chakra point. Look at that light radiating up and down, as above, so below. I could get lost in this card. I'm being told to hold it up so I can allow you to take a screenshot if you feel guided to do so. And maybe spend a little bit of time meditating upon this image. Just focus on the center of the card and breathe consciously. And then trust your own divine guidance, your own wisdom, your own inner tuition to flow through you and guide you. Feel it. Feel it in your heart. I'm going to read from the book as well, because I've been told there's a lot more to it. And I'm having another little moment of, what are you doing, Amanda? Which is kind of disconnecting me, but the connection will return. So, there is only light. Darkness is just an absence of light. Light is sought after and extraordinary. We see clarity of light, a lightness of being and light bulb moments. Light bypasses the analytical mind and takes us straight into loving wisdom. It is time for you to step into your shining light. Be illuminated. Let the light in. Today is the day to release any disturbances in your energy. Happiness will come naturally, unless you do something to prevent it from happening. Release all that is stopping happiness from flowing into your world, and it will appear before you. It seems too easy, but it truly is that simple. Until you realize this, you remain connected to the belief that struggle is required, perhaps more respected, lesson-laden path. We often take on the belief that we struggle. If we struggle, others will think more of us, and we will appreciate things more. When you go against your soul, you move away from your brightness. The darkness is a sign it is time to feel your way back into your heart and soul. Again, feel your way. Your feelings truly are your superpower. Now, inspired reflections and actions. Greet the sun each day. Breathe particles of sunlight into your chest to lighten the load of your heart. Again, breathe in your own light, your own divine light. Take deep breaths in and out. Imagine your breath is filled with a kind of calm and peace. Each breath relaxes you more and more, for it really does. Go through your clothes and shoes and let go of anything you have not worn for a few years or no longer gives you joy. And again, that applies to your thoughts as well. Let go of the old beliefs that no longer serve you, that no longer bring you joy. Those old beliefs that you're not worthy, you're not good enough. Let it all go. You are safe, you are loved, and you are taken care of. You are a divine light being. You are divinely guided at all times should you choose to tune into it, turn your dial. Be open to receiving and trusting your soul's guidance. Let go of the fear of being who you truly are. Let go of the fear of failure. Learn to trust in yourself. Spend time in front of the mirror, getting to know yourself. Speak to the person in the mirror as if they were your best friend, for they are. Your soul loves you so much. Your soul sees how much love you have to give to the world. Your soul sees your gifts. Your soul will always, always guide you. Get to know your soul. Do your mirror work. Do your shadow work. Look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and speak from the heart. Acknowledge everything you have survived. Acknowledge all of those painful experiences. Allow yourself to feel the pain of those experiences. And allow yourself to acknowledge how awful those painful memories feel. And then choose to let them go. Choose to release all those burdens and pains from the past by consciously breathing. And as you breathe out, feel all of that old, heavier frequencies of heavy, icky beliefs floating away as you breathe in the truth of your own divinity. Breathe in your own light. Breathe in your own life force. Breathe in the wisdom and clarity that will come with the practice of doing this. But look yourself in the eye. Befriend that reflection in the mirror. Have compassion. Have love. Have understanding for all that that beautiful soul has been through. Pay attention to all of those painful lessons. Take the wisdom you've learned from them, because you've learned you're strong. You're still standing, aren't you? Right here, right now. Look at all that you have overcome. Wow. It's quite a lot. I'm getting very emotional now, and I'm getting the goosebumps. So I know this is striking a chord with you right now. Feel that emotion. Allow the tears to come. Tears are healing. There is nothing shameful in crying. Our body is such an intricate and amazing machine. Tears have a purpose. When you truly allow yourself to feel, when the overwhelm flows, leaks out, and that emotion, that water energy, the frequency of emotion, the flow of emotion, when we allow those tears to flow, we are healing ourselves. We are releasing that energy. And as we breathe in that beautiful air energy, it blows the cobwebs. It blows the darkness, the shadows away, leaving the gleaming light, leaving the wisdom, the wonderful lessons that we've learned, leaving that golden, that valuable frequency of wisdom for us to carry forward. For you see, all of that wisdom that we've learned through those awful experiences, that means we recognize things now. We see things coming so we can avoid it. We will never have to experience those horrific experiences again. Because we have the lesson, we've learned, we know those frequencies. We know what that feels like. We know what those situations and circumstances feel like. And we choose to let them go. We choose to no longer calibrate. We choose to keep our frequency, our vibration in a good feeling frequency. And full faith that when we're feeling good, the law of attraction brings us more and more experiences that feel good. But it is up to us. We have to choose to let go of those heavier, icky frequencies that we've been dragging around all our lives, constantly fearing that we'll experience them again. And yes, you do experience them when you revisit those memories. But you only need to revisit once so that you can acknowledge, remember that, identify, does that memory feel good or does it feel bad? And again, there isn't really any good or bad. But you know, that heavier stuff, it feels ick. And if it feels off an ick, you get to choose whether you want to keep carrying that around or whether you choose to let it go. And it just takes practice. It really is that simple. But it does take daily practice. Looking in the mirror, feeling what you feel, breathing consciously, breathing in your light and your divinity, and exhaling all of those cobwebs of heavier, icky frequencies that you really no longer want to associate with anymore, that you want to free yourself from. You have the power to do this. We all have the power to do this because we are all divine light beings. We are all eternal souls. We have the power to free ourselves and heal ourselves. But that means going within. That means returning to the source of it all, to ourselves, to our souls, to our own divine connection. We get to choose. Do we want to feel happy? Do we want to feel joyful? Do we want to live a lovely existence in a wonderful world? Because we get to choose. And the more we focus on things that upset us and bother us and annoy us and frighten us and enrage us, the more we're turning our focus into the heavier, ickier frequencies that really don't feel pleasant. And as we're beginning to understand, law of attraction answers without fail. But it answers what you're feeling, not what you're thinking. It answers your frequency and it matches it. So if your focus is on all of the things that annoy you and upset you in your life, you're tuning your vibration. You're tuning into the feelings of those frequencies, thereby calling more and more experiences of that frequency. But you get to choose. You have the power to choose. Choose to breathe. Breathe in your own life force energy. Breathe in yourself. Breathe in your own soul's wisdom. Because it is safe to trust your soul. Your soul knows all of your dreams and desires. And by tuning into your soul, by tuning into who you truly are, by tuning into that beautiful Christ frequency, the heart chakra energies, those higher vibrations, by tuning into your soul, your vibration raises. And law of attraction brings you all of your dreams and desires. You start noticing you have better experiences each day. There's more and more good feeling experiences coming your way. And the more you notice them and appreciate them, of course, that feels good to notice and appreciate. It's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Things are changing. The more we're feeling good, which means the more good feeling vibrations we are emitting. Thereby, law of attraction brings us more and more of those same frequencies, those same feeling experiences. We are that powerful. We get to choose. It is truly that simple. It just takes a little bit of practice. But with practice, you do see results. And quite quickly, I know that. There is only light. And you are that light. You are a light being. And you can choose to be happy. You can choose to feel good. You can change your reality. And sadly, most of us have been conditioned to say, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. But you have to see it. You have to feel it within your mind. You have to feel how good it would be to have all of those dreams and desires made manifest. And when you're feeling that, when you're in that frequency, you're emitting it. That's when it can come. But if you're looking at it through the lens of, it's not here, it's not there, I'm not worthy, it doesn't feel so good. So when we sit and write wish lists while feeling, haven't got it yet, and then don't have it, why not me? Sorry, it's meant to be on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. I shall silence that. Apologies. And again, that has broken the connection, so just bear with me for a moment. Yeah. You have the ability to change your own reality. But it is up to you to choose where you place your focus. And I really wish I was an artist, a cartoonist, because I was shown an image the other night and it's coming through again really strongly. And, it kind of came along with the message of how we've lost our respect for water. Once upon a time, there was an expression about you can't pour from an empty cup. And, you would visualize a cup filling with water and overflowing. And that would have been coined around, in the days where people had to travel to a well, where, you had to carry a heavy bucket of water home with you. So if it got wasted, you felt it because, it was valuable. It took a lot to get to it. It was valuable. Whereas now, we don't really hear that message anymore because water flows freely from taps in most of our homes. We can buy it in shops. Still so valuable to us, but we take it for granted. We don't always recognise that value until the water's turned off and you realise how often you use it and how much you take it for granted. So an image that started coming through, like in cartoon form, was, like like one of these little crock pots here behind me. One of those with a little slit in the bottom, so, something can flow out. But that there's a big nozzle. Rather than a flow of water, there's an infinite supply of golden coins. And they're constantly flowing through our nozzle. And we each have a little crock pot, like a little leprechaun's pot. And we get to fill it so that the little bit trickling out is what tends to, providing a roof over our heads, food on our table, all our requirements. And that supply is infinite. We will never have to want or need for anything because we are connected and we have this infinite supply. Now, there is one little catch. The nozzle isn't attached to our hands permanently so that we can be focusing elsewhere and filling our own little pot. The catch is the nozzle comes here. So the spout is here, right between your eyes. So that flow of infinite, valuable gold coins, that infinite supply of something so valuable that's constantly flowing through us. If we are getting caught up focusing on other people's pots or other things happening in the world, other journeys that are nothing actually to do with us, We are not refilling our own pot. We are not allowing our own flow to flow. But if we keep our focus on our own path, on our own journey, other people's journeys are none of our business. If we keep our own pot constantly overflowing, well then if it's overflowing, there is more than enough for our friends and loved ones and the people we care about. We can give freely of ourselves because we are looking after ourselves. We are making ourselves our own little pot priority. And in doing so, everybody else around us benefits. But when we get caught up in filling other people's pots for them, paying too much attention to other people's journeys, we're allowing our own little pot to trickle dry. The supply isn't gone. The abundance, that infinite supply of abundance that hasn't disappeared, it's still there, it's still flowing through you. But you see, we get to choose. And we need to choose ourselves. We need to choose ourselves. And we need to have our own little pot overflowing so we can give freely to others. So pay attention. Where is your focus? Is your focus mostly on other people's journeys? Or is your focus on your own path, your own journey, your own experience, on what you would like to create? Because you are the creator of your own reality. Keep your own little pot overflowing, and then you can give freely. That is how you help others. But you must do your own work. It's like the old analogy that people use of the airplane and the oxygen mask. You have to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can help other people. Otherwise, you'll pass out from lack of oxygen. And be no good to anybody. You have to be good to you first. You have to love yourself first. So please, please, spend some time looking in the mirror, doing some shadow work. Look at yourself. Look at your life. Not with a critical eye, not with judgment. Look at yourself through the lens of love, compassion, and understanding. Look at all you have overcome. Look at everything you've achieved. Look at all the wonderful lessons. Because you know, even the bad things, everything that we've experienced has brought us to right here, right now, to the person that we are today. You're still standing. You survived every struggle, every hardship so far. No matter how traumatic, you survived it. You are that strong. And what does that tell you? Look yourself in the eye. Remind yourself of how strong you are, how powerful you are, how well able you are to overcome challenges and hurdles and injuries and troubles. You've overcome them all. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge your strength. Acknowledge your power within. Acknowledge yourself and how wonderful and amazing you really are. No more self-criticizing. No more negative self-talk. Other people, they can judge, they can use mean words, but you know they cannot affect you unless part of you is in agreement with them. And if you are criticizing yourself and somebody says something and you agree with that criticism, you're taking your frequency, your nozzle, and you're turning it away from your own little crock pot. And you're putting it on other people's journeys. And it doesn't feel so good. Take your focus back to you. Make yourself a priority. Offer yourself some self-love. Because when you learn to love yourself enough, to spend time with yourself, to be kind to yourself, to truly love yourself, then you come into alignment with yourself. Then you become the best of who you are. Then you become someone who can give the best of themselves to all those loved ones around them. And you can do that in full faith that you will be guided every step of the way, that your internal compass will help you always choose the right path and option for you. Just have faith. But that comes from feeling that connection again, feeling that connection within yourself, feeling that connection to the divine, feeling and tuning into your own soul's wisdom. Now, I think that's it for now. I did have other decks I was encouraged to bring out, but I'm not feeling any calling to pull any. So I trust that the message has been delivered, and I trust that it will resonate with those who are ready to hear it and receive it. So thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And I'd just like to add, thank you very much for all of you that have reached out to me to thank me for doing this. Because although I'm aware some are sneering and laughing, I do this because I agreed it would help one person. So please do let me know if these messages resonate, because it encourages me, gives me that little bit more courage to answer the call when I'm asked to deliver these messages. And if they are resonating, please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you feel anybody else you know would benefit, please do feel free to share it anywhere. Keep forgetting to mention that. So yeah, thanks once again for taking the time to spend some time with me and listening. And I hope this is of benefit to you. Thank you so much. Much love. And I'll see you again soon.